This is a 2016 Chevy Silverado 1500 electric power steering rack and pinion with the electric motor right here. And so I pulled this thing out of my truck. First I pulled the motor off because I had one fail on me already. Bought a new motor, took it to a guy, he fixed it for me, and it lasted me probably a year and a half, 2 years now. And my power steering went out again. So I ordered a motor, 430 bucks, $300 cheaper than I got it a year and a half ago or so, a year ago, whatever. And I was happy about that. So I get it in the mail and I go ahead and pull the motor off the truck, and I find a broken belt inside of there. So I don't know if you can see in there. Well, I done took it out anyway, so it don't matter. Get that for you. This is what the other side of the belt grabs, and it's got a worm drive in there with all these little ball bearings. They're gonna fall out as soon as you go taking this thing apart, and they will run everywhere, probably about 100 of them. So be very careful when you're taking it apart, because imagine you lose one or two of them and you're probably gonna mess it up, maybe even just one of them. But yeah, so try to keep all them, maybe even try to find out how many there is before you put it all back together, and make sure you got them all. As you can see, I haven't got this thing back together, but I spent about 3 days figuring out how to get it apart. So I pulled the motor off the truck, found out it was the belt, realized I bought a motor for no reason, new one's inside. And so anyhow, I'm like, all right, well, while I'm waiting on this belt come in the mail now I know it's the belt, I'll take this power steering rack and pinion out and we'll see what we got going on. So I pull it out the truck, I get it into my garage, and first thing I did, I pulled this boot back, found out, okay, I can pull that off of there, cool. You know, get that out of my way. I took all the bolts out of each side, this side of the housing and this side of this housing. And that thing would not come off of there no matter what you pry, beat, whatever. Obviously you're trying to be careful not to break anything, so I wasn't beating it that hard, but I beat it and pried it hard enough to where if it was gonna come apart, it would, you know. Realized something else got to come off before that comes off of there. So anyhow, once you get this off of there, what you'll be able to do, you should be able to get this thing off of here. After you take that off, this will screw right into there. You unscrew that off the end of that shaft, and you should be able to slide this piece off. So now what you got left is this housing will be stuck on here. And once again, you can go to beat and prying now that you got that off and thought you did something, and you still won't get nowhere. Well, this clip actually sits right down in these holes, just like that, after this goes in. But anyways, move that out of the way for now. You'll see this down in there, and I had already tried to take a screwdriver or wedge and hit it with a hammer each way, and it didn't move. And I let it sit overnight with some stuff on there, and sure enough, come out here actually 2 days later, tap tap, and it went to spin. And I was like, man, I knew that damn thing had threads on it. So cool, that's threaded. That comes out after you get that out of there. Actually, after you get that out of there, this whole piece should slide out. Now, when that slides out, that's when you got to be real careful, because all these balls and everything's going to start sliding out of here, right? This is still going to be inside of this housing though, just like so. It goes in there just like that. And that bearing seats right there, you know, right past them threads, and that thread locker keeps this whole assembly in there. And obviously that bearing sits on the other side, you know. But this, once again, it'll be stuck on there until you get this locking collar out of the way. Then that'll all pull off. This whole assembly with this in it will pull off of that shaft. All your ball bearings will fall out. Be very careful not to lose any, obviously. And so once you get it apart, now I haven't done this part yet, and it's probably going to be a pain. We'll see how it works. But I have to fish this back in there with the belt on it. Actually, no. Actually, I think it'll be pretty simple. But I don't want to do it yet because I got to clean this housing. But yeah, I'll put that belt on there and I'll fish it through that hole to where I can see it over here where the motor's going to go. And get that all back in there. Press my bearing or tap it with rubber mallet or whatever you got to use. Piece of 2x4 with a hammer, whatever. Try not to damage it. But anyway, make sure you grease them. Go ahead and grease them up while you got them out. Clean them up, grease them up, whatever you got to do. I'm going to take a wire brush, maybe even a wire wheel to these grooves, because that's probably what's causing some damage to the last belt, being all corroded. And same thing with this here. So anyways, and I'm going to reuse my motor now that I know that it's good. Probably send that other one back or sell it. If y'all need to buy one, give me a holler, give you a discount. Anyway, sorry man, I'm wore out. Just worked a 10-hour shift at the damn power plant, so I got a one-way camera on this busted phone. But anyway, yeah, it's been a project. So let me shut up and get back to it. So you're gonna fish that in there, get your belt right there, you know, where you can see it, all that good stuff. And then once you get this in there, there goes my bearing, falling apart. You get that in there, then you're gonna have to clean all that. I'm gonna clean all my housing and all that good stuff. That's why I'm not even going back together with it just yet. I'm gonna clean all that, scrape all that old gasket maker off, either make a new gasket and cut one out to fit this, or I'll probably just use RTV actually. But there's some good silicone gasket maker. Probably use some temperature stuff, even though this don't get that hot, I'd imagine, but use some high temp anyway. But yeah, so you'll get that back in there, and now this is going to be the tricky part, because what you got to do after you get this all good and cleaned up real good, and the only way to do this that I could even imagine, just from doing a lot of mechanical work in my life, plant industrial mechanics and small engine mechanics and vehicle mechanics, just different stuff. When you do stuff like this, you clean that out real good. The only thing holding in there is that grease and that goop. So after you clean it out real good, you're gonna want to re-grease everything really good, because that's the only thing gonna hold them ball bearings in there while you try to take this inside of that whole assembly and slowly swivel the whole housing with this inside of it. Unless you can get the bearing to spin, you can take what I took was needle nose to those two holes, and you should be able to slowly spin it with those two holes on there. But if it'll spin all together, spin it all together with the housing. That's what I'm gonna do anyway. So yeah, you'll get all there's a stopper you'll find. Let's see if I can find it, because I thought it was yeah, you see that one on the top side, right? Looks like a glob, almost looks like I missed a ball bearing. And then the bottom one right there. So yeah, that is a stopper on each side for them ball bearings. So I'd assume if you don't have enough to go from end to end, you probably are missing a couple and might want to check that. But yeah, all right, man. So once again, it goes in there just like that. You're gonna get your belt fished in there with it, obviously. Clean all that gasket maker. That's gonna slide on there, just like so. And then you're gonna get this back on there. Screw that in. Make sure you got it seated all the way. Pay attention when you're taking it apart. Maybe mark some things as you go. And this, once again, goes right in these holes. Like this is something that I marked, you know what I mean? And my mark's gone. So, oh, it only goes one way. Look at that. Convenient. So yeah, it goes just like that. It only goes one way. There's not a hook on the other side. Good deal. See, I marked it yellow just because I didn't know when I took it apart. Yep, put that in there, put that in there. And then, after you got all that done, you can go ahead and put this housing back on there, screw it on, clean everything out, obviously, once again. Maybe replace some O-rings, whatever you want to do while you got it apart. You know, make it last as long as you can next time. Get this screw back on there, you know, put your foot back on there to hold that tight around that. I'm going to have to buy an aftermarket one, maybe add a little dab of something right there. Should replace this boot really while I got it apart. And then you take this clip, Put it back on there. That's gonna keep dirt and dust out of here. This side ain't so critical. This side is very critical because it's just a hydraulic cylinder. As you can tell, there's nothing in this side, so they definitely intended on keeping it clean. But anyway, yeah, man, I said that's a hydraulic cylinder, but it's really just a greased electric cylinder, I guess. Maybe it has hydraulic fluid, I don't know. Doubt it. But anyway, there's your steering rack. I didn't get a video of taking this thing out of the truck because I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But once I tried to find out how the hell to get this thing apart, couldn't find not one single video, I decided I'm making one to help somebody because this thing is a pain, fellas, ladies, whoever's working on your truck. But y'all have a good night. I'm done with this thing for the night. I'll probably finish it up tomorrow or something. Freaking 10 o'clock at night, dang near. So y'all have a good night. I'm a welder by trade. As you can see, my videos are usually about welding, plant life, and stuff like that. But I do a lot of small engine mechanics. I just rebuilt this thing for a guy. About to fix this scooter, the old Honda, little stuff like that. But anyhow, yeah, thanks for watching. I ain't gonna tell you to like and subscribe. This ain't no Bugs Life dude. And I don't need your money, but hopefully I help somebody. That's what the little belt's gonna look like. The other one was shredded, so I can't show you yet. And that's the new motor. Y'all have a good night.